Welcome to our deep dives, everybody. We're exploring this helium mining thing today.
Oh, yeah.
We've got these 3 articles about it.
Okay.
And basically, our mission is to understand how this whole system works.
Right.
What makes it valuable, and what are some of the risks involved?
Yeah, it's a really fascinating intersection of crypto and the Internet of Things. A lot to unpack there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very different approach than traditional mining or even like internet infrastructure.
Yeah.
It's all about decentralization, community involvement. We'll get into all that.
Yeah, so to kick things off, could you give us a quick overview of what Helium actually is?
Sure. So Helium is a blockchain-based network, right? And it's specifically designed for connecting all these devices on the Internet of Things.
Yep.
Like we're talking, anything from smart refrigerators to fitness trackers,
Right.
air quality sensors, all that.
Makes sense.
The idea is to create a more decentralized and potentially more secure alternative to relying on these big tech giants,
Yeah.
like your Googles and your Amazons,
Right.
for all that, IoT connectivity.
Yeah, so that's where this whole concept of the people's network comes in, right?
Exactly. That's what they call themselves often.
Yeah.
Because the network is built and maintained by, regular people. Anyone can participate
Cool.
by setting up a thing called a Helium hotspot.
Okay.
It's basically like a mini cell tower for these IoT devices.
So instead of these massive data centers that just, suck up tons of energy,
Right.
Helium is incentivizing people to kind of build out this network
Yeah,
by rewarding them with crypto.
precisely. And in this case, the cryptocurrency is called HNT.
HNT.
And you earn that by providing coverage and transferring data
Got it.
for all those devices in your area.
So the more coverage you're providing with your hotspot,
Right.
the more HNT you stand to earn.
That's the idea, yeah.
Okay, so these hotspots are essentially what we're calling the miners
Yep,
in this Helium ecosystem.
that's great.
But it seems really different from, like, Bitcoin mining with all those powerful computers.
Totally different approach. Bitcoin mining is all about raw computing power,
Right.
solving complex math problems, all that.
Yeah.
Helium mining is all about providing that wireless coverage
Got it.
for those low-power IoT devices.
Now, I read that isolated hotspots actually earn less HNT.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah, so that's because Helium uses this really unique system called proof of coverage,
Okay.
or PTC for short.
Right.
So instead of energy-intensive calculations like proof of work, like Bitcoin,
Yeah.
Helium uses this system to verify that the hotspots are actually,
So,
providing coverage where they claim to be.
makes sense.
It's kind of like a network-wide game of Marco Polo,
I like that analogy.
using radio waves to prove their location.
Okay.
So you need other hotspots in the area to kind of verify your location
Right.
and the coverage you're providing.
Yeah. That makes sense, that it's designed to be collaborative,
Right.
since the whole goal is to build out this, really widespread and reliable network
Exactly.
for all these devices. Plus, the Poké system is a lot less energy intensive than proof of work, which is a good thing, right, from a sustainability standpoint.
Yeah, for sure. Helium's big on being energy efficient.
Yeah. Okay, I want to move on to something else that kind of caught my eye. This dual token system.
Okay.
I know there's HNT, the main cryptocurrency.
Right.
But then there are also these things called data credits.
Yeah.
Can you explain how those work?
Yeah, this is where the economic model gets kind of interesting.
Okay.
So HNT, like you said, is the main cryptocurrency. You earn it for mining. It's traded on exchanges, all that.
Right.
But Helium also uses these data credits, or DCs,
DCs.
which are these non-tradable tokens.
Okay.
They're specifically used to pay for data transfer on the network.
So if someone wants to use the Helium network to, transmit data
Right.
from their device, they need to use these data credits.
Exactly. And to get those credits, you have to burn HNT, which basically means you're permanently removing it from circulation.
Oh, interesting.
Creates a balance between the two tokens.
So does this whole system impact the value of HNT in any way?
It's designed to potentially stabilize it.
Okay.
The more people using the network to transmit data, the more DCs they'll need,
Right.
which means more HNT gets burned, taken out of the supply.
So it's like a supply and demand thing.
Exactly. The demand for data helps support the value of HNT.
That's really
It's a
interesting.
cool system.
So we've covered what helium is, how the mining works.
Right.
But what makes this whole system valuable in the first place? What's the big draw?
Yeah, there are several factors,
Uh-huh.
actually. First, you got the energy efficiency,
Right.
which is, a stark contrast to other cryptos.
Yeah.
And then, the potential for that price stability.
With the two tokens.
Yeah, with the HNT and the DCs working together.
Okay.
But one of the biggest things, I think, is the real-world application. Like, this isn't just speculation or digital assets.
Right.
This is about building a network that could actually change how we connect devices in the real world.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's a big deal.
And all of this is tied to this massive growth of the Internet of Things, right?
Absolutely. The more smart devices we have,
Right.
the greater the need for networks like Helium to connect them all.
It's all connected.
It is.
And the Helium ecosystem itself, it's constantly evolving, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's Helium Mobile, which is a great example.
Yeah, they're expanding their utility,
Yeah.
driving that demand for HNT.
So you're telling me I could be, like, earning crypto just by having this device in my home?
Potentially.
That's helping my smart refrigerator talk to my fitness tracker.
It's the idea.
And all while contributing to this decentralized and energy-efficient network.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
It sounds pretty amazing, but I know, like with any investment, especially in crypto,
Yeah.
there's got to be some risks involved, right?
Oh, absolutely. Helium is no exception.
Okay, so let's talk about those risks. What are some things that people should be aware of before they jump in?
Well, one of the big ones is network saturation.
Okay.
As more people set up hotspots,
Right.
the rewards get spread thinner, right?
Makes sense.
So your individual earnings might decrease.
As more hotspots come online in your area.
Exactly. It's like any mining operation.
Yeah.
The more miners there are, the smaller everyone's slice of the pie.
So location is key.
Very key.
Not just in real estate, but also in helium mining.
For sure.
Okay, saturation noted. What else should people keep in mind?
The volatility
Oh, right.
inherent to crypto.
Yeah.
The value of HNT, just like any other cryptocurrency, can fluctuate a lot.
Up and down, up and down.
Yeah, and it can happen quickly.
Hour to hour even.
Yeah, so even if you're mining a consistent amount of HNT, its value in, dollars or euros could be all over the place.
Makes sense.
So you got to be prepared for those swings.
Right. We all know how wild those crypto markets can get.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's the technology itself.
Right.
What happens if, newer, more efficient hotspot hardware comes out?
That's a real possibility.
Could that make the existing models obsolete?
It could. Definitely something to consider.
So it sounds like doing your research and understanding, all the potential risks
For sure.
and rewards is absolutely crucial
Absolutely.
before jumping into helium mining.
It's important to be informed.
But even with those risks, it's hard not to get excited about what helium is trying to build.
I know what you mean.
This connection to the physical world,
Yeah.
the emphasis on energy efficiency,
Right.
the potential for individuals to play a role in this new internet infrastructure.
It's pretty cool stuff.
It's all quite fascinating.
Yeah. Very ambitious project. Really pushing the boundaries of both the crypto and telecommunications worlds.
It is. And I'm glad we're having this deep dive
Me too.
because it's opened my eyes to a whole world of possibilities I
Yeah.
hadn't even considered before.
I think that's what's so great about this stuff. There's always something new to learn.
Absolutely.
But we got more risks to discuss before we get too carried away.
Okay, let's do it.
We'll get into those in more detail when we return.
All right, so we've talked about the potential and the big picture.
Yeah.
Now I want to dive into the nitty-gritty of the actual hardware.
Yeah, let's get into the hotspots.
Yeah, the hotspots. So these are MIDI cell towers, right?
That's a good way to think about it.
Using
yeah.
radio waves to talk to all those IoT devices.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really different from traditional mining,
Right.
where it's all about, raw computing power.
Yeah. Yeah.
With helium, it's about providing that wireless coverage.
So instead of solving complex math problems to earn rewards,
Right.
you're actually providing a service by expanding the reach of the network.
Exactly. You're contributing to the infrastructure.
And the more coverage your hotspot provides, the more HNT you earn.
That's the idea, but it's not just about, how many devices you can connect to.
Right, because of that proof of coverage system.
Exactly. Your hotspot needs to prove it's actually providing coverage where it says it is.
Like that Marco Polo game with radio waves.
Yeah, exactly. So placement is super important.
Okay, so location, location, location.
Big time. Ideally, you want a spot with good line of sight.
Okay.
Not a lot of obstacles blocking the radio waves, and being up high usually helps.
Makes sense.
And you also need to make sure there are other hotspots in the area.
Right.
To act as witnesses for your coverage.
For that proof of coverage.
Yep, it's all part of that verification process.
So finding the perfect spot for your hotspot,
Yeah.
it's a bit of an art.
It can be, but there are tools out there that can help you analyze potential locations, estimate your earnings, based on things like hotspot density, terrain, all that.
So you can kind of strategize.
Yeah, some people even mount their hotspots on rooftops or high-rise buildings,
To get the best coverage.
maximize those rewards.
Smart. So let's say I found the perfect spot. What kind of hardware do I need?
Oh, well, there are a few different companies that make these hotspots.
Okay.
They all have their pros and cons.
What are some of the, popular brands?
You got the RAK Hotspot V2, the SenseCat Miner, the Bobcat Miner 300.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Are they all basically the same, or are there differences?
They all operate on the same principles, connect to the network the same way,
Okay.
but there can be differences in processing power, antenna strength, price, that kind of stuff.
So some might have better range.
Exactly. Some might be better for certain environments.
Got it.
It really depends on your needs and your budget.
So do your research.
Yeah, for sure.
Choose the right hotspot.
Absolutely.
And where do you even buy these things?
You can buy them direct from the manufacturers. Okay.
Or through authorized resellers. Just make sure it's a reputable source.
Right. Watch out for scams.
Definitely due diligence is key.
Okay, so I've got my hotspot. I've found a good spot.
Great.
What now? What's the setup process like?
Okay, so you got to set up your hotspot, get it connected to the network.
Okay.
All that's done through the Helium app.
Oh, there's an app.
Yeah, you download it on your phone.
Okay.
It walks you through the whole process step by step.
Okay, so it's pretty user-friendly.
Yeah, they try to make it as simple as possible.
What does the setup actually involve?
First, you connect the hotspot to your Wi-Fi.
At home.
Yeah, your home Wi-Fi.
So it needs a constant internet connection.
It does, yeah. That's how it talks to the Helium blockchain, gets updates, all that.
Okay, makes sense.
Then you got to register it on the blockchain.
Okay.
And after that, you assert your hotspot's location.
Assert. What does that mean?
Basically, it's confirming that your hotspot is physically where you say it is.
Okay.
The app uses your phone's GPS to figure that out. So I don't have to enter coordinates or anything.
Nope, the app does it all.
Cool, so I got to be physically there with the hotspot.
You do, yeah. Just got to be within a certain radius.
To prevent any funny business.
Exactly. Keeps everything legit.
Makes sense. So I've asserted my location, my hotspot's registered.
Okay.
I'm ready to rake in the HNT, right?
Almost. One more crucial step. You need to connect it to an antenna.
Ah, right, the antenna.
That's what lets your hotspot send and receive those radio waves.
So that's what's actually talking to the devices.
Exactly. The antenna is what makes it a miner, you could say.
And you mentioned there are different types of antennas.
There are, yeah. Different gain, different coverage range.
Could you break that down for me?
Sure. Gain is like how focused the signal is.
Okay.
Higher gain means it can reach farther, but it might have a narrower coverage area.
So if you're in a rural area?
Yeah, high gain might be good.
But in a city, maybe not so much.
Right, you might want wider coverage.
Got it.
Yeah.
So choosing the right antenna is key.
Very key. It can make a big difference in your hotspot's performance.
And your earnings.
Of course.
Okay, so to recap, buy a hotspot, find a good spot, connect to Wi-Fi, assert the location, and hook up the antenna.
You got it.
Am I missing anything?
Okay, that's pretty much it.
And then the HNT just starts flowing in.
Well, your hotspot will start syncing with the network.
Okay.
Start searching for devices to connect to.
And then the rewards will come.
Based on how much data your hotspot's transferring?
It's amazing how Helium has created this whole system where individuals can contribute to this network and earn rewards.
It's pretty revolutionary.
It is. But I know there are still risks involved.
Oh, yeah. We've only scratched the surface.
Okay, well, let's dive into those risks.
Let's do it.
The final part of our Helium mining deep dive. Okay, so we've talked about network saturation, the ups and downs of the crypto market, and the possibility of the tech becoming obsolete.
Right. All important things to keep in mind.
Definitely. But are there any other risks we should be thinking about with helium mining?
Yeah, there are a couple more.
Okay, lay 'em on me.
Well, one big one is regulation.
Yeah, that's always a wild card with crypto, right?
It is. The whole regulatory landscape is still very much evolving.
So what kind of changes could we be talking about?
I mean, some governments could start taxing mining profits.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
They could require miners to get licenses. Some countries might even ban it altogether.
Wow. Okay, so that's something to definitely keep an eye on.
Sure. You got to stay informed.
Right, because those changes could really impact helium mining.
Oh, yeah, in a big way.
So regulatory uncertainty is a risk.
Big time.
Anything else?
Security.
Security.
Yeah. Like, these crypto networks are decentralized.
Right.
Which is great for censorship resistance, but it also means there are potential security vulnerabilities.
So, like, what kind of vulnerabilities are we talking about?
Well, for example, if enough hotspots get hacked, it could disrupt the whole network.
Oh, wow.
Or even lead to H&T being stolen.
Okay, so that's a scary thought.
Just something to be aware of.
And it sounds like individual miners need to take steps to protect their own hotspots, too.
Absolutely. You got to be proactive about security.
Got it. So we've got regulation, security, anything else?
Yeah, just the fact that helium is still a pretty new technology.
Right.
There could be unexpected challenges.
Yeah, there always are with new tech.
It's not a guaranteed success, you know.
Right, so it's important to be realistic.
Absolutely. Helium mining, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Yeah, definitely not.
It takes work. It takes knowledge.
You got to be willing to learn and adapt.
Exactly. But for those who are, it's a really exciting opportunity.
To be a part of something new and potentially game-changing.
Exactly. Something that could change how we think about connectivity.
It is pretty cool stuff.
It is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, any final thoughts on the future of helium?
It's at a crossroads, really.
In what way?
Can it keep growing, keep scaling, while staying secure and efficient? Will it attract more developers, more applications?
Right, to really expand its reach.
Exactly. And how will it navigate the whole regulatory landscape?
Because that's a big unknown.
It is. If helium can address all those challenges,
Yeah.
it could really revolutionize things.
Especially for the Internet of Things.
Exactly. But those are some big ifs.
Yeah. A lot of potential, but a lot of hurdles, too.
For sure.
Well, for our listeners who are intrigued by all this, where can they learn more?
The Helium website is a great starting point. They've got tons of info on the tech, the mining process, everything.
Every recourse.
And then there are the Helium communities on Reddit and Discord.
Yeah, those are great for connecting with other miners.
Absolutely. You can ask questions, share experiences, get advice.
Learn from the pros.
Exactly.
Awesome. And as always, we encourage everyone to do their own research.
Always good advice.
Especially with crypto. It can be exciting, but it's important to be informed.
Couldn't agree more. Knowledge is power, my friend.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our helium mining deep dive.
It's been a journey.
It has. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thanks for having me.
And until next time, keep exploring and keep diving deep.